Top 6 mini market cap meme coins that you need to buy before the next 60 days. Now I hear you asking, Suppoman, how long have we got for altcoin season? Why meme coins? Why should we buy those? Have we got a year for this bullishness to last? Or have we actually only got 60 days? Well, if you want to know more, watch on, because my name's the Suppoman. Your superhero of 100 to 1000x gems. I have found 40 plus 100x cryptocurrencies. Something no other YouTuber can say. I have been around since the beginning of 2017, so I have seen it all. I have seen all the pain. I have seen all the pleasure. And if you want to learn more from me, then make sure that you like this video first of all. Hit a like on this video and subscribe if you haven't already. I am getting more views than I have subscribers. So make sure that you subscribe so you never miss a video and then you get the information well after the information can make you money. So right now, I believe we are about to explode into the banana zone phase. The banana zone essentially is also, you could call it the hockey stick zone, which is where cryptocurrencies break out and then they go up only. That typically happens Q4 in the post-halving year. So after we have had the halving year, whether that be 2024, 2020, 2016, we have always had in Q4 of the following year, we have the banana zone. And I believe what we have seen since the beginning of October is giving indication we are about to go into that banana zone again. So I believe we potentially have only 60 days left. Now let me explain more to you. So right now we are seeing Bitcoin near an all-time high. We hit a new all-time high yesterday of 125,000. Now if you have been watching me, you will know that this is the period of time we have been waiting for. We have been waiting for this since 2021. And 2022 when the bear market hit at its worst. This is what we wait for. Back then, Bitcoin was $15,000, just like I said it would go to in that bear market. And now we are at 125,000. And this is having seen that just before October, we were at 111,000. So now it looks as if we are beginning that ascendancy. So why meme coins, Suppoman? Well, let's have a look at a yearly time frame to see what have been the best performers. Well, what it says here is the best performer is actually layer ones. Now, what I can tell you is that layer ones are highest market cap cryptocurrencies. They are the ultimate utility because basically every single segment of the market, every crypto narrative feeds back into the layer one that hosts it. So if we have a great meme coin season for Solana, that's why Solana goes from $10 back in the bear market all the way up to near $300 in the bull market. So layer ones are the best performers, but meme coins are the second best performers, and you can get these at the lowest market cap. So when we're looking at layer ones, we tend to be looking at cryptocurrencies that are already in the billions. Okay, so Ethereum, XRP, BNB, Solana, Cardano, Sui, Avalanche, Hedera, Litecoin. All of these layer ones are in essence the highest, most valuable market cap cryptocurrencies that exist. So if you come to cryptocurrency to make insane gains, then that is not where you go. So therefore, the second most bullish narrative by far, in fact. You know, the second place is, it looks like anyway, DeFi coins, right? Now, my trick, because you can't have any kind of coagulation between another narrative and another narrative, it just doesn't work. You don't really get meme coin, you don't really get RWA mixed with DeFi. You don't really get AI mixed with stable coins. You don't really get a coagulation, a meaningful, making sense coagulation between two narratives. But memes, like layer ones, can encapsulate it all. you can have AI memes. We had that already. We had that with AIXBT, AI16Z, Goatsius Maximus. They were the biggest AI explosions back last December. You can have AI RWA. You can have meme RWA, like you have with Housecoin. You can have meme DeFi. You can have meme games. You can have memes with everything. So, like layer ones, memes are the lowest market cap cryptocurrency because they don't have utility, as it were. So therefore, they are the hardest to keep value. So therefore, you've got the lowest market caps. But in memes, you can capture all the other narratives. Well, except for maybe layer 2s. SocialFi can also go under memes. Deepin could also go under memes, but really everything else can go under memes, like NFTs, memes. Again, back in 2021, we had NFT platforms or NFT gaming, and therefore gaming and NFTs did well. But now we have got meme NFTs, like Pudgy Penguins, one of the best performing meme coins of this cycle. So memes is why I am concentrating on this asset category. Because it just seems like it makes the most sense. B, it's got the most gains potential. C, you can get some really hot cryptocurrencies in this area as long as you've got fantastic execution. Now, I'm going to take you through why I believe we have got a potential maybe 60 days left of an altcoin season. Okay? Now, what I'm going to tell you is that no bull market is exactly the same as the last. Back in 2013, we had 3 tops. In 2017, we had 1 top. In 2021, we had 2 tops. Now, in 2025, we are arguably always seeing tops. But let me just show you something, okay? So this is 2021. All right, well, what I'm going to show you is across 2020 and 2021. All right, you can see this, I hope. So, hold on a minute. Let me just share this over to the great people of the X community. Bear with me 1 second. Share X. Hold on. Little problem with X there. Right, okay. Let me do that again. Share. I'm talking to you at the same time, so bear with me 1 second. Post. There we are. Done and done. Right, so let me take you back to 2021, right? And how similar it is, actually. So, bottom of the bear market saw Bitcoin at around about $3,000. $3,000. Right, that's where we got to at the crux of the bear market in December 2018. Just like where we got to the crux of the latest bear market, which was November, December 2022. So anyway, yeah, so the lowest we got to was 3,000. Now, this is where the halving happened, and then this is 150 days after halving. Now, why I measure that here and here is because there is typically a sideways period for the market just before we explode into the banana zone. And it's typically 150 days, right? So let me just show you that measurement, okay? So between halving and the bananas, well, not banana zone, but after the sideways action, 151 days. Now let me show you at the end of the sideways action, what is the multiple between the bottom of the Bitcoin price to where it is after the 150 days. So 3,000, and then when we get to the end of the 150 days, it's 10,500. So that's essentially a 3-point-something-x, okay? 3.2x between the bottom and the price of Bitcoin after the 150 days after halving, right? And then we have the banana zone, okay, as we had right here. Now, what I will show you is when did the top of the market happen from the end of the sideways action. We can see we can see a period of 393 days between end of sideways to top of the market. Now, let's have a look and see where we are right now. So, we had the bottom of the market all the way back. Look, it's virtually the same. November, December, bottom of the market, bottom of Bitcoin price, December 2022. Okay, at that point, it was $15,000. Okay, it went down to late 15,000. Okay, then we had the halving. Right now, what is the difference in price of Bitcoin after the 150 days of sideways action? Okay, so we've got the 150 days right here. Okay, of sideways action before the market starts lifting off. So the price of Bitcoin is 53,000. So from 15,000 to 53,000 is basically, and again, 3.2x. Okay, so 3.2x, so from 3,000 to 10,500 back in 2021. Here, from 15,000 to 53,000, again, 3.2x. Roughly the same. Virtually roughly the same. At the end of the sideways action, we had 3x'd from the bottom. Exactly the same as 2021. Now, where are we in terms of from sideways action? Where are we in terms of the 393 days from that sideways action? Well, actually, we are on it. We are on it. So what this is saying to me is that if we are repeating what happened back in 2021, is we are now at the crux of when the banana zone actually is, right? And right now we have seen a hockey stick develop in terms of Bitcoin action. So why I believe we've got 60 days is because I don't necessarily think that we are going to top 393 days from the end of the sideways action, because, well, there is no because really. I think that the reason why is because when we had the top here, which was at the beginning of November 2021, when we had the top for Bitcoin, actually what we had is through to mid-December, we had alt season. Okay, so whilst Bitcoin did make a top at the beginning of November, actually all across November and the beginning of 2021, in the beginning of December 2021, we had alt season, okay, which was basically from this point around about 30 days, okay? So what I'm trying to say is that we, in my opinion anyway, I don't think we are at a top for Bitcoin. I think we are going to explode towards a top. We don't have to be exact in terms of, I have been very exact in terms of how accurate the difference is between, or the similarities are between 2021 and where we are right now. And this is the only area which gives cause for concern, because we are at the exact point we were when Bitcoin topped in the last market. So what I believe is Bitcoin is making an ascendancy now, and it's likely that kind of beginning of November-ish we'll probably see, we could be seeing, I'm not saying we will see, but we could be seeing a top for Bitcoin. I know you're probably saying, Suppoman, that is so bearish, that is FUD. You know, what? You know, you said maybe till next year? If stimulus comes in, and stimulus was the reason why we had 2021 in the first place. 2021 was such a mega bull market year. You know, we had two massive tops in that year. So you're probably saying to me, well, Suppoman, do we have a year or not? Do we have 60 days? Do we have 30 days? What do we really have? Well, in my personal opinion, everybody misses the bull market. Everybody misses the top. Okay? I am living proof of that. Everyone misses the top. So I think that it's going to be coming soon. You know, I think we could be seeing it very, very soon. And what I'm saying to you is that right now what we've got is we have got Bitcoin basically going to new all-time highs. We've seen it 125,000 in this stream alone. And it's likely we could be seeing Bitcoin go to 150, 200K. Now, people are going to say Bitcoin go to 300K, could go to 1 million, blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to be operating on those kinds of metrics, because those kind of hopium metrics are what burnt pretty much 90% of the market in this bull run as well, because most people missed the top. Everybody missed the top, in fact, and I don't want to miss it again. So what I will say is that back in 2021 and 2017, when we did have tops, there were signs. And I don't think we've had that sign yet. We haven't got, I haven't had people coming up to me and saying, you know, what crypto should I get? You know, people I haven't heard from for years. We're not seeing Binance at the top of you know, the App Store. We're not seeing Phantom at the top of the App Store. We're not seeing, you know, we're not seeing what we typically have in these bullish periods right now, but we could be seeing it very soon. And I think that once Bitcoin tops from that point, we have got 30 days left. So I think that we potentially have another month for Bitcoin to make a new all-time high, and maybe from that point, 30 days after that, hence 60 days. So 60 days, in my opinion, is the potential minimum time we have got left of this bull market. Minimum time. And I've shown you why I believe that. So let's now get into what coins do I believe are banana zone coins. The coins that you need to be getting in order to exploit this potential uprise in altcoin prices. So before I go into that, as usual, nothing I say is to be construed as financial advice. Crypto is largely unregulated and high risk, and people who invest should be prepared to lose all their money. And everything I say to you in this video is for informational and educational purposes only. So anyway, there we are. So as I said, nothing I say is to be construed as financial advice, and these are, these reflect, potentially my holdings and also where I see insane, upside in the banana zone, where we're going to be going from here. So the first one I'm going to be covering is my favorite, personally, my favorite coin for this market. It should kind of come last because, I always save the best till last. But I'm going to be talking about this because it is the highest market cap of the cryptocurrencies. But I think that that's immaterial because when we look at basically one of the most like DJI 6930 that we have, so dowge DJI 6930, which is basically a mascot cryptocurrency looking to flip the Dow Jones 30 top companies, right? That's really what it boils down to. A dog mascot coin looking to flip the Dow Jones stock market, all right? So closest competitor is SPX 6900, which is a non-mascot coin looking to flip the SPX. So you can already see the lack of commercial appeal compared to DJI 6930. Okay, now the reason I'm saying it's immaterial at this point that DJI 6930 is at 21 million market cap is because SPX at this point here, now this has already had a critical mass banana zone basically. Now at this point right here, no, not there, right? This is $18 million market cap for SPX, okay? So many people may have thought, that at this point it was quite high already for SPX. Wrong. Look where it went to. From 1 cent, it went up to $2.30. $2.30 from 1 cent. That is a 230x, people. A 230x is mega. Okay, so from that market cap, it just shows how immaterial market cap is because at the same time, this is a movement cryptocurrency that has a mascot at the head as the icon of this movement. So it's much easier to understand what it is for the retail investor because it's in the banana zone that retail come in. This is retail. This is the retail pump. So this is kind of existing money. Then we got the retail pump and retail takes everything up. So at this point, the timing kind of ends for existing market because there's only so much that existing market can take a coin up. There may be many market participants, but a lot of them will have already spread their stable coins or spread their sideline money into cryptos at that point. So from this point, this is where the kind of retail, new retail come in and they take the baton from there. And honestly, it's like handing the baton to Usain Bolt with Usain Bolt about to trip over at the finish line, okay? The reason I say that is because retail are what speeds up the prices right to the top, and then they are the ones that end up getting burnt, right? So, yeah, that's probably the best analogy I can come up with on the spot. But anyway, right, so new retail are going to come in, and they are going to see that this is very, very similar to SPX 6900, but the only difference is they'll look at SPX and they'll think, what the kind of what the hell is this? Or they will be listening to Murad and they'll be thinking, oh, I kind of understand it. Movements are sounding very, very attractive. And then they will come across one of my videos, DJI 6930. It's just going to make a lot of sense. They're going to be like, well, this makes way more sense because, this is an actual mascot. It looks like Doge, Shib, Dog with Hat, Bonk. All of the famous Shiba Inu cryptocurrencies that have come and gone and made incredible multipliers before. And they're going to think, oh, yes, Now, they're not going to see what you see here. They're going to see something else. They're going to see something better than what you see here, because I think this is one of the last times you're actually going to see, you know, DJI 6930 in this guise, right? I'm saying no more than that. But if you go on SPX, then what you can see is basically just a load of gobbledygook, polysyllabic jargon, which people in the community get, but people outside of the community will not understand. And yet you look at this, and it's just very layman's terms, very simplistic. This is a movement, a passionate movement, and we've already started to see an ascendancy for dowge, right? When we are seeing Bitcoin going up to its all-time high, you know, now we've seen dowge go up to 3 cents. It's gone back down to 2 cents. So to me, this is a tiny market cap for something that is, in my opinion anyway, an incredibly special cryptocurrency. You know, we're seeing some coins like AU79, GME, you know, some other, you know, I would say unworthy cryptocurrencies well ahead in terms of market cap. So that just goes to show you that this has got a hell of a lot more room to ride. And where this got to the other day at 33 million market cap, you know, it just shows you that getting all the way back up to 70 to 80 million, it's still going to take much effort, because it's already made that ascendancy. It's done a 3x from the bottom, and I think that from here it's got the potential to do even still well over 100x. Well over 100x, you know, to compete with SPX. And I'm going to be making more of a noise than I did all the way back, you know, in the, you know, at this stage. You know, I was making a noise along with DJI 6930, and the market is looking like it's going to be, you know, it's propping up for that right now. So I'm going to be making just as much of a noise. So DJI 6930, I just think this is probably at this market cap, the best coin you'll ever see at this market cap. It is, you know, part of a narrative in meme coins that's incredibly sticky. Movements. Next up, we have got Meow. Okay, now Meow has just graduated. Meow has just upgraded. Now, the price that it is right now is not an upgrade price. It has hit a new all-time high in the last 24 hours, but this is not an upgrade price, considering this. This is the new website for Coin, the original cat cryptocurrency. Now, this is a brand now. This isn't just, you know, going to the Bitcoin Talk forum, where you saw the origins of Coin. Now what we have got is we have got a fully functioning brand created Coin. Okay, this is it. This is the brand. And now, just like as I said it would be, right, this is the journey. So you are able to read through the journey and have an actual story told right to you, okay? That's why Meow just makes a lot of sense to cat lovers, okay? Because this is your typical bona fide meme coin cryptocurrency. It's a cat, right, that is basically what half of all pet owners own. So you've got the journey here, and you have got a very, very interactive depiction of, you know, where Meow has come from. You know, you've got the GitHub, you've got the original website, which it takes you to, and then you carry on, right, with the actual story of what happened. You know, the initial rally of Coin, you know, and the influencers that were promoting at the time. They're now famous. Max Bitcoin, Kobe, you know, they're now very, very famous. You know, back then Kobe had, you know, probably a couple of thousand subscribers. Now he is one of the biggest accounts on X, right? So you can see the history, and you can see the type of people that we're talking about Coin, right? And again, you can go to the Bitcoin Talk forum, you go to the Reddit forum. So you've got the full history, a much more rich depiction of the history of Meow. That retail investors are gonna see the injustice, but I'll get to that very, very shortly. So then we have the downfall. Okay, so like I said, this is the story. This is what Bitcoin Talk did show, but didn't actually depict it in a simplistic way like it is here. The downfall. Doge's cult, so obviously it came out at the same time, as you'll see from the Bitcoin Talk post. Doge's cult wasn't ready to share the spotlight. They fudded hard, liquidity dried, devs vanished. For over a decade, cats ruled memes, but had no blue chip coin to call their own, whereas dogs had Doge, Shib, Flocky. cats were silenced. Okay, now we've had some schizo cats come out. We've got Mog, Popcat, Mew, Toshi, to name a few. The rest of them are kind of fade into oblivion. You wouldn't really know who they are, right? But what you've got here is you've got a cat coin that's called Meow, and you've got a story. This is the first ever crypto coin. The first ever crypto cat coin. So this stands out, in my opinion anyway, above all of the cat coins I've already mentioned. And now we are to where we are here. Kitty coin returns. Fully relaunched, same legendary ticker, 2013 roots. Even the dev is behind. The original dev is behind the new, not actually like creating it, but is actually backing, stands by the new Kitty coin. And now we're in a situation where now, we have got Meow to overtake Doge. We have got blockchain, the cat blockchain looking to flip the dog blockchain. And then you just got all of the various explanation of the logo. You've got for the retail to understand what is the USP, what is the product market fit, and there you've got it, right there. Cat memes, these guys are very, very, if you go on their X, they're very active and very, very original with memes. The prophecy of Meow coin, and essentially dogs have had their run, now it's time to finish the story, join the cat comeback. So this is a movement. This is essentially creating a movement out of Meow. So not only is it a meme, it's also a movement. It's got movement connotations. And so to me, these are stories that are going to impact upon Kitty Coin's commercial value, brand value, retail friendliness, and ultimately where I believe it's going to be going into the hundreds of millions of market cap. Okay, because this has an actual story, and think about it. Tits, which I'm going to be bringing up as another example later. Tits is a cryptocurrency that had none of this. It was a pure shock value cryptocurrency that went from well under 300k market cap to 500 million market cap in literally the space of a couple of weeks. All right, with no narrative, not appealing to a market as big as this, with 480 million cat owners worldwide. So therefore, Meow, I just think this now is ready to go, people. When I've been speaking about this in my videos, so far I've only been able to allude to the Bitcoin Talk forum. Now it's a brand. This is ready to go. Right in time for Banana Zone. The third cryptocurrency I have got for you is Pandu. Okay, now the reason that I really like Pandu, actually let me just bring it up here, because for some reason I didn't bring it up properly. The reason I love Pandu Pandas is because this has all the look and feel. The execution's also brilliant. The look and feel of pudgy penguins. Okay, now something I actually was not aware of is pudgy penguins' fantastic social media presence. Look, 769,000 followers, and this is like mainstream content. People who are interacting with pudgy penguins, their animations on TikTok, are not even aware pudgy penguins is a cryptocurrency. I know this because of people I've spoken to in literally the last couple of days. I'm like, pudgy penguins. They're like, what, is pudgy penguins a cryptocurrency? I was like, well, yeah. And they're like, oh, but they're big on TikTok. They do all these like memes and stuff. And I'm like, really? I didn't actually know that. I didn't actually know that this was big in social media. These are just, very relatable memes that are just getting shared all across the internet by people that don't even know there's a cryptocurrency, right? And what we've got with Pandu Pandas is we have got something of similar brand nature. Now, this has gone down quite a lot. Look, this went up to 28 million market cap, now at 19 million. And, where we've got pudgy penguins right now is we have got this still at 2 billion right now. At 2 billion. It's roughly up there with its all-time high, which was 3.9 cents. Now it's at 3.2 cents. So its relevance is very, very relevant right now. And pudgy penguins, this offers people the chance to get into a very similar brand to pudgy penguins, but a much smaller market cap with a fantastic execution. Now, I've taken you through this website already. This is Pandu Panda's actual website. Now, if you go and look into the app, you've actually got an interactive AI panda here. You can change its appearance. You can talk markets with it. If you press these buttons, it will actually do something. This is not what you get with pudgy penguins. So already you've got some great execution with this team. They've done an insane job, in my opinion. They've got actual message, They have got marketing going on. They've got an NFT collection going on. They have got a roadmap going on. You know, they have got basically the look and feel of Pudgy Penguins without the actual, at this point, it hasn't exploded. Like, this reminds me of where NFTs were around about January 2021. They were nowhere. And by April 2021, they were huge. By end of 2021, they were the biggest, you know, biggest collective asset you could get anywhere in the whole world. You know, you had crypto punks going for $24 million for an individual NFT, right? And although NFTs as a market has essentially died down, Pudgy Penguins has shown that to create a brand, you need to have all sorts of different facets. You need to have a coin, you need to have an icon or mascot, you need to have marketing, you need to have an NFT collection, right? They've shown the full suite of what you need in order to succeed and be the next Pudgy Penguins, right? Now, let's look at, so this is Pudgy Penguins, and let's now have a look at Pandu Pandas. Now, they haven't got anywhere near the amount of followers, of course they don't, because, you know, they have only really recently gotten started. But look at these animations. Look at this stuff. Look, and the quality of it as well. This is not cheap stuff. This is not your average, you know, this is not your average, even at their market cap, $20 million crypto. This is not your average at all. This gives the look and feel of a multi-billion-dollar brand. Okay, and pandas, there are no pandas. There is another, there's a very similar one that's dog related. It doesn't have, in my opinion, the same uniqueness because there's no penguins. There's no penguins other than Pudgy Penguins. There's a million dogs. There's no pandas. This caters to the panda market, which is unique. You know, uniqueness is sometimes what wins. You know, what I love about DJI6930 is that this is a three-headed dog movement mascot. It's not just your average meme mascot, your average dog meme, right? This is a dog movement, so it's different. Pandu Pandas is very, very similar in that respect, in that they have got a unique place in the market. You know, they are actually, you know, there is nothing like them in the market. You know, a dog collection, it is good, you know, but it doesn't compete with something that has literally no competition in the market. There is no other panda cryptocurrency. Somebody, another YouTuber I saw, brought out a crap panda coin that's gone to zero, basically. This is a high quality project. And you can see this has all the potential in Banana Zone to really get a ton of followers. Particularly because I'm going to, you know, my videos I intend to have spreading like wildfire during the Banana Zone, right? So therefore, I imagine a lot of people will look, and TikTok is the new thing. You know, TikTok is the new social media. It's the new TikTok. It's where people go. If you don't really go on TikTok, you're kind of a loser, really. And I don't mind classing myself in that category because I don't watch TikTok. Not a lot, anyway. But this is where all the cool kids go. And it's where the cool kids have obviously shared Pudgy Penguins. And Pandu Pandas has really capitalized on that market. And not only capitalized by having visibility, but very quality visibility. So that's why I think Pandu Pandas has insane upside potential still from here. You know, from where it is right now. I think this is only the beginning for Pandu Pandas. Next up, we have got Ass Liquid, which has exploded, so my window wasn't even ready. And this is up or near an all-time high. Now, why Ass Liquid? Well, first of all, the name is just absolutely genius. Ass Liquid. It just goes, doesn't it? It's a little bit like a coin that is one of the top coins right now. Is this POO coin. I don't like saying it, to be honest. But anyway, it's very, very similar to that in that it's just got that shock value. Ass Liquid, which is also another word for this, right? It's absolutely perfection. But that's not the crux of where this has value, okay? Even though that shock value is what led to this for tits, okay? Ass Liquid, brilliant, you know, and it's only 3 syllables as well. You know, for a long title, Ass Liquid is very easily rolls off the tongue. But where the USP is for Ass Liquid is here, right? So right now, what are the big movers right now? Asta. Asta, by a mile, outperforms everything here, is Asta, right? Now, who wants to get into Asta at a multi-billion-dollar market cap, right? Literally no one who cares about making money, right? You want to make, You want to turn 1,000 into maybe 2,000? Fine, fill your boots with Asta. If you want to turn 1 million into 2 million, maybe you could do that with Asta. But, as far as mini cryptocurrencies are concerned, the best way to have exposure to Asta is to have something that essentially is Asta but low market cap. Now, Asta is a decentralized perpetual exchange, which is exactly what Asta Liquid is. And it's very relevant despite the fact that most of the market are up right now. Asta is outperforming everything in the top 100 and outperforming it by a huge distance. And so is Mix. Mix is basically number 4 on here as the best riser, right? And Mix and Asta are basically the same type of project, which is a DeFi project. And Asta Liquid is basically the look and feel of a meme. So Asta Liquid is a meme name, it's a meme icon, but the actual website is a perpetual exchange, which they are constantly adding more and more functionality to. So Asta Liquid has insane potential, because this is essentially a mascot for Hyperliquid and Asta. That is where Asta Liquid comes from. It is basically an amalgamation of Asta and Hyperliquid put together to create a better name, Asta Liquid, with the logos of each individual elite cryptocurrency coming together to create probably the most perfect look, to be honest. Look at that. That is perfection, really. Okay, oh, hold on, wrong one. So anyway, yeah, so Asta Liquid, given the absolute brilliant, relevance of Asta, that's all you need is the relevance. It's a little bit like Shiba Inu. The reason that did a 1 million X in the bull market, last bull market, was only because Elon Musk said he was the CEO of Dogecoin and was working with Dogecoin to actually make this into one of the big cryptocurrencies. And it just needed that relevance constantly being pushed of Doge for Shiba to do a 1 million X. Because Shiba to Doge is what Asta Liquid is to Asta and Hyperliquid. It's basically, as long as this narrative is current, this one has the potential to spike. And given that I've seen so many influencers talking about Asta and Hyperliquid, and will continue to, and I'm talking about the biggest YouTubers, then there's all the potential for Asta Liquid to outperform any other DeFi meme. And that's the other great thing about Asta Liquid, is that this is that perfect amalgamation of meme and DeFi. It just makes DeFi way more accessible, because DeFi, the reason why this isn't a popular narrative is only because people just, they find it too boring. They find it too technical. Yield farming, staking, all that stuff. They don't like it. Perps, what is that? Longing, shorting, leverage, what is that? New retail market coming into the market, they're not going to understand that, right? So DeFi is not very accessible. It's not very likely to do insanely well. But something like Asta Liquid basically takes the retail friendliness, the joke and shock value of a meme, and mixes it with a boring narrative, which is DeFi, and creates something that is actually interesting and accessible to all. And you don't have to take my word for it. We Love Tits, it was absolutely nowhere before the banana zone. So you only have to wait, really. That's it. That's really your only task. The next ones, 5, would be Andy on Base, because I imagine that when retail come into the market, Coinbase are going to start really hyping up marketing through Cassius Clay and other people on their roster. They're going to be ramping up marketing for the Base blockchain, marketing for the Base token that they've got coming out, and that's going to add a whole heap of interest in Base, which is something that Brett will definitely take advantage of. Toshi will take advantage of, but they're already in the multiple hundreds of millions. And this one is a mere 3.11 million. So again, this one does well in a bull market. It does very, very well. Went up to 33 million. It went up to 38 million, 42 million a little bit earlier. And I think that we're going into the banana zone we've all been waiting for. This is going to be the ultimate banana zone that should eclipse these by an absolute astronomical mile. Okay, so that's coming up very, very shortly. Next one is Suppoman. Okay, now I imagine, because I am very, very shortly going to be reopening the Suppoman VIP, because I've put it on hiatus while we got rid of some bad eggs. We've got rid of the bad eggs, and now we're going to ensure that the bad eggs can't return, which they probably could have under the previous model. So we have added basically some ability to differentiate the people who are coming in, and basically make sure we have a quality group of people coming into the VIP group. So you need 1 million Suppoman. No doubt, because let's face it, everything I've spoken about recently has absolutely spiked, has absolutely just gone bananas, gone parabolic without a banana zone. You know, if you've watched any other YouTuber, like I have basically outperformed every YouTuber, except for maybe some small ones. So if Win All Day is in the chat, but yeah, but I have been outperforming literally everyone, right? And the reason why is because I find quality in the low market cap zone. There are some people who just find any old shit, and a bunch of dickheads think, oh, that person's great, and then they buy and then they get burnt, right? And I find quality. So no doubt, people that come into my group during the banana zone are going to outperform, and therefore it's going to cause the liquidity shock, the supply shock of Suppoman, which exists already. You know, there are only, you need 8 million to get in, and already most of those millions are taken up by people who are in the Suppoman community, the Suppoman VIP zone anyway. So it's only going to get higher to get in. Next, we have got two that I love. First of all, Feetcoin. Now, Feetcoin is just pure meme, fetish market, and shock value. The same as for tits. Now, feet, everybody knows that foot fetishism exists, and a lot of guys have it. Don't have a guilty sausage smile, Michael. Anyway, a lot of guys have a foot fetish, and Feetcoin will undoubtedly be a coin that represents the foot fetishist out there. So therefore, it has that shock value, right? Now, you only have to look at how tits performed, right? You only have to look and see how something with shock value can go super nuclear, as long as it's around at the right time. Now, this one, it didn't matter who was talking about it, because I was talking about it all the way around here. It doesn't matter who was talking about it. It didn't fucking matter if there's no altcoin season, if there's no banana zone, which I think we're coming up to right now. You only had to wait for the banana zone. And I think that Feet just has that shock value appeal, but on the right side of shock value appeal. You know, it's one of those anatomy parts that you can get away with saying, but still shocks, has an edge, right? So Feetcoin, still at this market cap, well, I think you really look at the market cap compared to other coins I've spoken about here. It's very, very small, worth an outside bet in my opinion. And then the next one is AS, right? Which at this point has been, you know, kind of relatively stagnant. And I have been in contact with Lindsay about AS, right? And I think one of the big reasons why this has gone downhill is purely because of the lack, you can't really see the Twitter. Like the Twitter says it's, you know, it's sensitive content, even though it's not really. So I have spoken with Lindsay about basically trying to improve this situation and basically create a new ability to be able to share GIFs and stuff. And I think that assuming that the timing is right, you know, this one did have a mega explosion back at the beginning, and I think that, and this is purely on tits. You know, this did well because of tits, and I think it's going to do well again because of how tits did, right? Not because of how tits will do, because tits is dead in my opinion. But Ass and Feet, they haven't had the critical mass zone like tits did. Tits had critical mass at 500 million market cap. So there we are, people. So that is just a range of cryptocurrencies right now I think are banana zone ready. I think are going to be I think it's just going to be biblical. And that's that. Right, okay, let me take some questiones before I essentially bugger off. Suppoman, you will continue to export. I will support all cryptocurrencies I've spoken about for obvious reasons, you know, because I'm in it, you know, at the end of the day. So so why wouldn't I? I'm not going to promote some other YouTubers' picks, am I? And particularly not shit ones. And if I'm in a coin, then you can guarantee I'm going to be around and talking about it. Somebody Julia OS, yeah, who cares about that shit? See, Imagine telling someone you got some ass liquid. Absolutely. This is what I mean. It's just got that commercial shock value that, you know, that people cannot ignore. Let's see what else. IMF I've looked at looks stupid. F9 to 5. I have heard from YouTube that they don't like me talking about it, basically, in a roundabout way. They have said they don't like me talking about it because it verges on the side of they will shadow ban you, basically. Oh, Crypto Queen Amy, good to see you in the house. And I saw your awesome TikTok video, which I shared off, which I think is brilliant. So everybody, if you haven't yet, do make sure that you subscribe to Crypto Queen Amy. Crypto Queen Amy, what I would say is make YouTube videos too. I would say that. Because a lot of your content is just, you know, it's golden, really, and people shouldn't miss out on it. Even if you just upload it as a short. Imagine Binance listing ass liquid. Yeah, well, I mean, it'd be bloody brilliant, wouldn't it? I mean, I don't imagine they will because it's on Solana, but you never know. You never know. It's a perps exchange as well. So that gives it that extra stickiness. You know, this isn't like purely a meme. This is an actual... It's an actual... Bear with me one second. I'm just going to get rid of someone who just keeps spamming the same shit. Hold on. I take it people listen to my last stream because I don't have many people saying shit coins in my... I've just gotten rid of the ones who was. What do you think of Jojo and dumb? I mean, look at this. I mean, you're going to be hard pressed to find something that competes with this. And, you know, I was bringing it to you at 1.7 million market cap. So you're going to be hard pressed to find something as good as this. You know, and if you can, by all means, let me know. But I have looked at most of the coins that you guys say. If you guys think that I am just literally just lounging on a sofa, watching Netflix all day, think again. I am basically pretty much all the time on Dex Screener, on the crypto forums, in Telegram groups, scouting, looking everywhere for opportunities, right? And so a lot of what you guys say, so when you say IMF or whatever, I've seen it. I've looked at everything. I look at everything, people. And believe me, it's very difficult to find a needle in a haystack, but I do, right? So if I say your coin's shit, it actually probably is shit. And just kind of get out of the headspace where you think it's amazing, because it isn't. We love legs. You're getting banned, because you're clearly stupid. Pumpy's still bullish, yes. I mean, the reason why it isn't probably right now is because, well, look at Pump today. But, you know, Pumpy has done a nice relief rally from where it is. And, you know, Pump, I imagine, will be a behemoth. GigaChad is still there. Yeah, I mean, look. I mean, as I said, all you need to do is just be holding at the right time. And, you know, GigaChad hasn't really done anything for a long time. You know, it's still at 100 million. Like, it's not done an ascendancy. When it does, GigaChad will have, you know, the narrative. But you don't just pump. You don't pump consistently without some reason. You need to be relevant in the moment. It has to make sense in the moment to buy a certain cryptocurrency. So buying GigaChad now is you buying something knowing that if this goes relevant, that's going to go nuclear, right? But otherwise, you can just wait until GigaChad goes nuclear. But at that point, GigaChad will have already gone up 2x. So you take the risk by buying it when it's not at its highest relevance. Aria team about to launch their platform soon where you can make your own 3D companion. Yes, I have seen. In fact, I may be making my own soon. So watch this space out of the Aria or Synchroverse technology. Win All Day called Doggo. Yes, I saw Doggo as well from Win All Day, and to me it's just too high market cap for me. That's the reason why I didn't bother. So Doggo, if this was to go to 27 million, it would make me a 10x, and to me that's just too much expectation for do that. And because I think that, I mean, I like the branding. It's okay. It's good actually. But what I don't like is that it is another dog. You know what I mean? It's just like, I don't really want to support too many things that are similar to what I'm already investing in, right? So I won't invest in another DJI 6930. I won't invest in another Pandu. Unless it's something that just sticks out too much that I can't ignore it. But at this market cap, being of, just being dogs, I just think it's just been done too much. But I still think this has potential. From a market cap, this is roughly where I started talking about Pandu. So, but just to me, I don't like the market cap to invest. For me, it has to be perfection in terms of, it's got to be a great, this is why I bring you coins very, very early when I bring a new coin. It's got to have like with Pandu, it's got to look like 20 million whilst it's at 1 million, right? Or whilst it's at 500k or 200k. I've got to be able to see this is $1 billion cryptocurrency, even though other people have not been able to see this value yet, right? And that's why I get into, that's why it has to be perfect price and perfect project. Yeah, so that explains Doggo for now, anyway. Is it 8 million or is it 1 million? It is presently 1 million. Hello, you. Hello, who have we got in the house again? Oh, hello, baby. Hello, baby. Oh, you're a star. You're a star now, look. Hello, everybody. It's Spom. It's Spom once again. I have to talk a little bit quieter because she's got very sensitive ears. Has Spom. Haven't you, baby? Oh, she's your baby. What's the baby? What's the baby? Oh, hello. Look. Oh, who's baby? Mwah. She's so cute. Is she not the cutest? You're probably wondering, well, Suppoman, if you think that Spom is the cutest, why do you not talk about Spom? Well, the reason why is because I don't know who actually at this point runs Spom. So, can't really say, but otherwise, this is... this is the official Spom. Oh, man, I love it. Do you love it? Do you love it, baby? Oh, pretty. Doesn't realise. Look, there's you. Look, there's you. Can you see? Look, there's you. You're famous now. Mwah. Right, okay. So bye. So bye. Say bye, everyone. Bye-bye. I know. Go on. Go. Bye-bye. Oh, she's so pretty. Right, okay. She is gorgeous, isn't she? I agree. She is the most beautiful dog I think I've ever seen in my entire life, to be honest. Hence why we got her. Oh, mom. Do you see any... I already said... oh, hold on, this one. I already said... Yeah, I already made my feelings clear on this. It is poor execution. But it's quite funny. And I think it is actually a Pomeranian. I wish I still had Spom here right now and just put her... I do that thing where I put her ears back, and it actually does look a bit like this, so... Anyway, all Pomeranians are actually the same. No, I don't agree with you there. Like, Spom actually looked a lot different to all of her brothers. Anyway, people, I think that is it for today. Wabo took down that Doge, explain about insider selling. He said he loves Doge, he was just worried about the insiders. Okay, fair enough. Didn't really watch that video anyway. Suppoman teabags. Think of beef. Doesn't sound like a derivative play to me. But let's have a quickie. And a look. Where's the beef? Don't even fucking work. Beef.fun. I don't get it. EVM, what the fuck is this shit? It just doesn't make any sense at all. So how is that anything? Maybe I'm looking at the wrong beef. I must be. Let me have another look. This one? Oh, this! Right, okay, this. Pepe Bull. Beef. I don't know. I think it's pretty weak, to be honest. You have to kind of instantly get it. And I don't get it. You know, so it's pretty shit to me. Kite! You have to make me Kite coin! Kite! Actually, no, it's this way. No, it is this way. Kite! Brilliant. Pepe Dick! Looks like a sausage fest. Yeah, it looks stupid, doesn't it? You just don't get the bloody memo, do they? Right, okay, people. I'm going to make a move now. I'm going to make a move. So, I hope that this video definitely made you understand that there could be a finite window left. Okay, and I do not want you to miss that. So I definitely want you to have in mind that the next 60 days could be crucial. I am thinking it is going to be short term, right? Ian Bellina has said it's likely to spill on into 2026, and it could do. I don't know when stimulus is going to be coming. It has been hinted at already. But I'm also operating under the proviso that it could be over very soon. It typically is. You know, it's typically over by the end of 2020, by the end of Q4 of every post-halving year. And I'm yet to be proved otherwise. This might be an exception, but it might not. So what I'm saying is if the banana zone comes, then do not be surprised if it's a small window, and be very mindful you don't get caught out with your pants down again. Till next time, people, I've been the Suppoman. You have been amazing. It is lights out. All out.